Hi everybody, welcome back to Shining Empathy, and I am Joel. This is your weekly reading for September 12th to the 18th, 2016. So, let's talk Mercury retrograde for a second. I have been feeling the effects of it in so many different ways, from breakdowns in communication with family, friends, and as of last night, technology has started to go completely haywire on me. So this is not going to be an easy cycle. For whatever reason, this is going to be one of the harder ones that I personally have experienced for Mercury retrograde in quite a while. So as you can see, I've got my sage going here, trying to sage every single day. Anxiety has come about again. I've actually managed to just be in a place where anxiety with me has just been kind of on a very manageable or low or non-existent place. But in the last few days, she's spiking right up again. So again, I'm going to say this probably every time. I'm sure a lot of you are getting tired of it, but I say it with love and I'm saying it with truth. Ground, okay? It's so important to stay grounded and out of our heads during this time. So whatever practice you choose to do this, I've listed many before. I have a video on it on my YouTube channel. So go back and check out grounding if you want to check that out. But there's all kinds of practices out there for grounding. So if you even just want to Google how to ground, there's so many different things out there and ways to try. So please go ahead and find one that works for you. And on that note, I think we should get into our weekly reading. So, again, just using the Energy Oracle cards by Sandra and Taylor, doing the heart, strength, heart, and challenge spread. We'll see what this week has in store for us, okay? Hopefully it's going to be a little bit easier on us. The energy today, I'm personally finding, is quite... The word that comes to mind is aloof. I didn't even realize it was Monday until I looked at the clock at one point on my computer, realized it was Monday, realized, oh, I need to do my video for my channel, for my weekly reading. So here we are. And that's just kind of what the energy's been today, just very aloof and just up in the air. So even confusing. There's a certain air of confusion, chaotic confusion in the air. So, yeah. I don't know if any of you guys are feeling that as well. Okay. Let's see what... This card really wants to be out, so I'm going to bring it. All right. Strength. Tilt the camera down here. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. Strength. Man holding coin. It's interesting because man holding heart came up last week, I think, in the reading. And it's more about the traits that these cards embody that I'm going to channel for these readings, because obviously I'm not reading a specific person, so I can't channel if this is a person we're talking about or whatever it may very well be. But in terms of this reading, I'm going to talk about the traits. The traits of this person are stable, secure, confident, not necessarily grounded though. This person tends to really, he sees value in money and resources, right? So it's not necessarily a very nature, earthly grounding like the man holding heart is, who is sitting underneath the tree. He's still grounded in the sense that he's on the earth, but he sees value in other things, not necessarily the same thing. So in terms of what traits that we're being told are our strengths this week, maybe our confidence level is a little bit higher this week to kind of put our foot down about something. This person also has to see anyone as worthy of their time, of their effort, of their resources, before they'll even give you the time of day. Not necessarily a bad thing, it just means that they don't squander the resources they have. They hang on to them until they deem someone's kind of worthy of it, and then not necessarily give it freely, but give what you need. So it's kind of an honor, in a way, to be seen as worthy by this person. So maybe we're in a position where we're kind of hanging on to our resources a little bit until we see fit to distribute them, be it to people that we know or to things going on in our lives, situations. But being in our strength this week, we are definitely embodying more of these traits, or at least they're going to crop up, and maybe we'll have to use them. I always feel like in the strength spot, it means that they're more readily available to us. So hopefully those come a little easier for us this week for whatever it is we need. All right, moving on to our heart position. All tied up. So this card has to do with the things we tell ourselves we're committed to. It's quite often the things we tell ourselves, kind of the limitations we put on ourselves. In the heart spot this week, we're being asked to check how we are limiting ourselves in our heart center. If we're not allowing ourselves to feel things, if we're not allowing ourselves to pursue our endeavors in our heart, the things that we deeply want or desire in our heart, if for whatever reason we're saying, no, we can't have that, we're being asked to really check why we're saying we can't have that. Is it really something that we can't have? Or are we tying ourselves down to these excuses and commitments that we've really fashioned ourselves? The bonds that are around this woman are bonds that she has fashioned herself. At any point she could set herself free from them, but she chooses to stay in bondage, okay? So bear that in mind when it comes to what's going on in your hearts this week. Emotional stuff, family stuff, and bear in mind, and just kind of keep in mind at the back of your mind what it is that you have fashioned, the excuses, the limitations that you impose upon yourself, okay? And really check those this week. Now, in our challenge spot, the world. Okay, so the world is about getting a bigger perspective. It's about stepping back and looking at the bigger picture. Okay, sometimes this can mean kind of like literally going to another part of the world and seeing a part of the world that you haven't seen before. But that in itself is almost like a metaphor or an analogy of what I've just said, which is getting a bigger perspective of something, a bigger picture. This is very much about the metaphor of literally taking a step back from the situation or from a person or whatever it is and seeing everything for what it really is. In our challenge spot this week, it means that we're going to have trouble with that. We're not going to see things objectively. We are going to basically just be seeing what's right in front of us, and we're not going to see much past that. If we find ourselves in a situation where we're frustrated, irritable, or we can't see past our emotions, we can't see past the situation that's right in front of us, or something's happening to us and we can't necessarily see the greater scheme as to why it's all happening, that's okay. I mean, typically we have a hard time seeing that stuff anyway. This week in particular, we're really going to be hard-pressed to see any kind of a grand scheme or bigger picture or good reason why this is happening to us, the greater lesson, etc., etc. So don't be too hard on yourselves if you can't see the bigger picture this week. But I don't know, even in the challenge spot, I would say if you can even just remind yourself that, hey, I'm not seeing the bigger picture here. That might be all you need at this point, not to actually step back and look at the bigger picture, because in the challenge spot again, I'm going to reiterate that maybe we won't be able to. But if you can just remind yourself in any moment, just stop and say, hey, maybe I'm not seeing this for what it is. I can't step back and look at it for the bigger picture right now, but I'm just going to remind myself, hey, I'm not seeing everything there is to see, and I need to just give it time. Might be a little bit of patience kind of involved here in terms of waiting to see how things unfold, and so that maybe once we're on the other side of the situation, this kind of block of time that is involved here, we'll be able to perceive things clearer and see why things are happening the way they are, or at least what we're getting out of them. So that's your weekly reading. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm just going to pass the camera back up to me here. Doop. Okay. So, if you like my weekly readings, and I also do the full moon and new moon readings, please go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Shining Empathy. I'm also on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, @ShiningEmpathy, so please check me out there. And I think that is it. I feel like there was something I was going to mention, but Mercury retrograde has kind of really dominated the topic for the last while, so I think I'm just going to leave it at that. If anything does come up, I'll maybe squeeze it into my full moon video. So until next time, everyone, love and light to you all, and I will see you then. Bye for now.